Power is an animal that has haunted us time immemorial. Power is a creature many love to hold on to forever. Power is an evil that has led to immense suffering of innocent people. Power is a devil that has changed good people into heartless animals. In an election, there must be one winner. But if what we see every day is anything to go by, political leaders will hardly accept defeat. Worse scenarios have seen power displacing millions and lives being lost along the way. There is a saying that when elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. And in politics, the very people who vote are the ones who die or suffer when leaders tussle for power. We choose some people to lead us, since we all can't be leaders. But we are used and abused by the very people we choose. We fight and die on their behalf. We kill our brothers and sisters in the name of politics, while these leaders are always in comfort. This is the unfair part of human life. In neighboring Mozambique, the Mozambican National Resistance, Renamo opposition leader Alfonso de la Cama, who led the Renamo in a 16-year civil war which ended in 1992, has refused to accept the results of the 2014 elections, which saw him lose to the Front for Liberation of Mozambique, Frelimo party, led by President Filipe Jacinto Nyusi. Sporadic clashes between Renamo and government forces have taken place. The tensions rose further when Dhlakama vowed on 16th December 2015 to take power by March in 6 of Mozambique's 11 provinces. Since then, many Mozambicans have fled the country to neighboring Malawi to seek asylum. The Loud Whisper now takes you to the border district of Mwanza to see how the issue of these asylum seekers is being handled. We arrive at Mwanza Boma and proceed for another 22 kilometers to Kapise village camp, where the fleeing Mozambicans are camping. Being rainy season, the road is bad and we struggle to maneuver. We arrive at Kapise and find thousands upon thousands of asylum seekers. Kapise is about 500 meters away from the Mozambique border. Kapise is now home to over 12,000 asylum seekers, most of whom are women and children.
Tulifuna boma agulizane nsembomeno machitikayo usiidwe tikakhala mmene linalili mmokomo mwathu.
We now take a walk to the border through a path these asylum seekers use when coming to Malawi. We are told Mozambican government forces are just a kilometer away from the Malawi border, trying to restrict those fleeing from entering Malawi. The man escorting us is very afraid and pleads with us to return lest we are attacked. Without security escort, we give in and return to the camp. The belief is that the Renamo fighters are sending their families to Malawi for safety whilst they fight government forces, hence the decision to block those fleeing. A general peace agreement was signed in Rome in 1992 between the government of Mozambique and the Renamo. The agreement saw the formation of the armed forces composed of 50% Renamo and 50% government military. This agreement meant disarmament of Renamo and training of Mozambique armed forces. However, Renamo did not surrender all weapons.
Weri Malinamo adafikira kundande ndi ajawa malondola nzo ndi anthu amati chingengetse mujetsera ndani Malinamo aja ndi apa chingakhale tingopanga izi nonsenu Malinamo nchifukwa tivutika.
Living conditions for the asylum seekers at Kapise are terrible. Women, children, and the elderly are the most affected. These people come without food and major basics for survival, and the makeshift huts are what they now call home. These makeshift huts have contributed to deforestation in the area, as many trees are cut each day. Each day passes without hope for these people, and those who can afford a meal eat just once a day. The scramble for food amongst children tells it all. These people are in two groups: those who come straight to the camp and some who have just integrated into communities. This is a security threat, since those who just integrate are not screened. During the civil war in Mozambique, Malawi experienced an influx of firearms, and most of these ended in wrong hands. Armed robbers took advantage, and many lives were lost in the process.
This, of course, has got some challenges in terms of security, because with the exception of those that are coming through Kapise, these are individuals where our local authorities, as well as the security element, tries to also check on them and search them for any weapons. But for those that are coming directly into the village communities, being received by the traditional authorities, it's difficult to really assess the levels of their security, because they're just taken on faith that they are there. That is why we have also even tried to inform and impress upon the local authority that once they come into their local authority, they should take it upon themselves to first of all try to check on them, although rudimentary, find out if they are just bona fide people who are coming into their communities in good faith.
This is a lucky day for the people here, because World Food Program, WFP, is distributing food items to these asylum seekers. The ration takes into consideration the number of people per household. Each household receives maize, peas, vegetable oil, and corn soya blend with sugar meant for those suffering from malnutrition. United Nations High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, is at the center stage of making sure these asylum seekers are getting registered and are settling well. UNICEF is also providing tents and sanitation services, while Médecins Sans Frontières, MSF, are providing medical services, as well as potable water through boreholes at the camp. This camp is now full, and the place is now a health hazard because of lack of space. UNICEF erected these tents for a primary school, but we are told teachers left the camp. No one is telling us why these teachers left, and right now, no classes are in progress. we find these boys playing football, and they seem not worried about school. The same is the case with all the children we find at the camp. We wonder, though, how the situation was when classes were operational, because there is a maize mill less than 20 meters from the school. Well, somebody thought otherwise and had these tents so close to the maize mill. Maybe that's why teachers left. There surely was a lot of shouting to do so that they were heard by the pupils. Children are overworked and at times doing some chores that even adults don't even wish to do. We find these girls pounding maize during school time. Well, the pathetic conditions cannot be overemphasized. These people have not forgotten their God. They have built prayer houses. It's our prayer that God should answer their prayers so that one day they can safely return home.
The situation in Kapisi is dire. There is an overcrowding. The huts, people live in huts, makeshift huts. The conditions are not ideal for life in dignity.
At the Malawi border post in Mwanza, we find many trucks coming into Malawi and some leaving the country. People traveling through Mozambique are at high risk of being attacked. Deaths have so far been reported, and there seems to be no end in sight to this violence. Malawi, being a landlocked country, depends very much on this route for her imports and exports. We now travel to Lilongwe to meet the Mozambique High Commissioner to Malawi, to hear from the horse's mouth what is really happening in his homeland in terms of Renamo's disarmament and the current situation.
After the election of 2014, Renamo did not recognize it, the election results, which gave victory to Frelimo, and their candidate is His Excellency Felipe Jacinto Nyusi. Taking the defender and demand the recount, which confirmed the victor of Frelimo and its candidate. After the inauguration in 2015, the President of the Republic had meeting with the leader of Renamo twice in Maputo City. But once again, Renamo uses force, and the protest of fighting the government in the provinces where the war, which signifies that they intended to divide the country, which is unconstitutional. The elections were general and not provincial.
Whilst in Lilongwe, we also catch up with the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
So what we've done is we have a consolidated list, and just to indicate that immediately these people started coming to Malawi, the Mozambican government, the Malawi government informed the Mozambican government of this problem, and we have had several meetings. We had the visit by the Mozambican High Commissioner to Malawi. He visited the Kapise, then it was followed by the Mozambican Minister of Foreign Affairs, basically to appreciate what is the situation on the ground.
We leave Lilongwe with a mission unaccomplished. We are told UNHCR is moving the first group of asylum seekers from Nsanje to Luwani in Neno. So we rush to see how these people will be settled there. We find people still working on tents and toilets. This shows that the place is somehow not ready for the coming of these asylum seekers. 30 tents are up though to accommodate the 81 who have arrived today.
The group that you have seen arriving today is from Nsanje. It is the first group of 81 individuals who had fled from various provinces in Mozambique and who have been relocated to Luwani in order to start a new life here.
Luwani also played host during the Civil War that ended in 1992. And because of this background, there is a primary school, clinic, as well as a police unit, among other amenities. This is a far much better place compared to Kapise, which is very congested. However, the coming of more people means overstretching the facilities since locals use the same. For instance, the primary school here has 671 pupils against 9 teachers, giving us a ratio of 75 pupils per teacher. These teachers are already overwhelmed. We are yet to see if these teachers will be deployed. Not just teachers, but those who can communicate in Portuguese and Sena, since all the 81 asylum seekers from Nsanje can only communicate in these 2 languages, unlike those at Kapise, who can communicate in Chichewa.
A prótese ou o outro meio de compensação pode dar mobilidade, permitir que a pessoa volte a andar com menos ou mais dificuldade.
Well, we have to rest because we have work to do as early as possible tomorrow. We have to witness the first relocation exercise from Kapise to Luwani. We are on the road again as early. With the bumpy road before us, the drive is slow. We arrive at Kapise and the place is already busy. Some are willing to go to Luwani, but some are not, claiming they have property across the border and it is easier for them to walk across, unlike from Luwani, which is over 60 kilometers from here. We are told some have fled overnight back to Mozambique because they don't want to be relocated to Luwani. Well, there isn't much that authorities can do since the exercise is voluntary. This woman claims her husband was hacked to death and that led to her fleeing to Malawi together with her 5 children.
Amuna wanga adapebwa ajogera okachaso adakumana nova njira nkwagwira kwajega pa coast ndiye nendide bweradi ndiwana kunoko ndindwana 5 amende bwetawa nawo.
103 people leave today for Luwani, and it will be a long and tiresome exercise considering that we have over 12,000 asylum seekers here. Some of the vehicles ferrying these people worry us. They seem not to be in good shape. Well, we have no say. This is not our call. We now follow the convoy to Luwani. These people have no idea to where they are heading. It's obviously an experience of fear and anxiety. Surely, that anxiety of not knowing where you are going, and that anxiety of going further away from your home, with no relatives and no friends. They are surely daydreaming. That dream of never seeing their loved ones again back home. Breakdown as expected. We doubted some of these vehicles from the word go. Well, there is panic. Fortunately, there was another truck which was sent back because only 103 people were ready for relocation today. This truck is called to cover up, and the journey continues. There is total silence in the trucks as these people drive past the unknown bushes to destination Luani. We arrive at Luani, and to our surprise, a lot of work has been done in terms of land clearing and tent mounting. It's a bigger home now. This will now be the home to these people. Until when? Only God knows. New home, new everything, the fruits of civil war.
In Mozambique, there is not a war.
Well, maybe there is no war in Mozambique, and it's all very much dependent on how one defines the word war. But what can't be denied is that people are fleeing, and there is definitely something they are afraid of. Peace is a precious good. Only with peace shall every country develop, and Mozambique is no exception. The 16 years of civil war that ended in 1992 should make leaders from both sides, that is, Renamo and Frelimo, reflect on the many souls that suffered, died, and got maimed in a war that no one was a winner. These people need peace, and that peace must come yesterday. Let there be peace, so that these poor souls can return to their homes and be reunited with their families, hoping they'll even find their loved ones alive. Why kill our own people? Power is not everything. There is life without presidency. This should be a reminder to our leaders here in Malawi, Africa, and the world over, both in government and opposition, that when elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. Don't be selfish. Don't use us to fulfill your selfish agendas. We can't all be leaders at the same time. That's why we choose you to lead us. Don't be that elephant, because we do not want to be that grass.
Ha ha ha.